Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot nay.
Hey everyone, welcome along to Trackside with Kokpit, brought to you by the crew at GARAGE16. As you can see, Kinser and Booker doing something special. It is a countdown 2 weeks from today. It is Christmas. Hey, Books, Merry Christmas, mate.
It's the Silver Fox Santa. Woo-hoo, hey, Merry Christmas. Hey, let's get into the spirit of it, mate. In 2 Wednesdays, or another couple of Wednesdays' time, it'll be Christmas Day. We'll be sitting down with our families, opening presents, eating heaps of food, having afternoon sleep because we drink and eat too much, you know, and dressing up. we listen, people. I said to the kids, we'll get Christmas hats and we'll do it. He goes, yeah, I'll go buy a Christmas hat. And I was down at the warehouse leaving my Christmas hat last night, and I saw the Santa suit. I thought, oh, I should do that. Oh no, we won't do that. And then look at kids, turns up as Santa, eh?
All dressed up. Yeah, obviously, I'm part of what I do in the community for youth, and we got a Christmas light show, so I was able to go along and borrow one of the Santa costumes. So I dress up in this, and we do sausage sizzles. We do all sorts of stuff for the kids, and we get people traveling to our small town of Pollock from as far as Whakatane, Gisborne, Rome, way out to Whangarei up in the north, down to New Plymouth, Taranaki. So that's how far they come to check out a display that's just full of Christmas lights for about 10 days. And yeah, that's why I was able to get this costume and wear it on tonight's show. But get into the festive side of things. Like I say, 2 weeks time we'll be waking up in the morning, like you said, Merry Christmas with our loved ones and our families, and then after that 7 days, mate, it'll be Happy New Year. It's 2025,
mate. Look, yeah, well, it's we need to, it's I mean, it's exciting, mate. It's all exciting, isn't it? As long as we're moving forward and not looking backwards in life, then we're having fun and we're going to make something of ourselves. So can only look forward to 2025, can't we? And what that brings. And what does that bring? That brings us some New Zealand championships around Speedway. We know our season's going to heat up as Speedway fans. So 2025 has got to be such an exciting time for our fans and people, looking forward for that, mate. But I just want to say I hope Clive Elliott is doing well. I heard he is out of hospital now. It was just a racing incident. It was unfortunate side by side with Mr. Joblin, and he hit the wall. I watched it, and it was it wasn't nice to see. So I hope Clive, 76, still doing it. So maybe he might have to make some decisions now, kids. But it's good to hear that he's out of hospital and okay. So I'm pleased about that for Clive, because as we know, he's been around the sport. And the silly thing is, I've seen him take bigger hits than that the last couple of seasons. And that's how unpredictable it is, isn't it? We know these cars are safe. We know they're built in. We know they're strapped in. We know everything can be done right. But a racing incident, hit the wall wrong, hit an angle wrong, and, that's what happens.
Yeah, 100%. Wish them all the best. And as they say now, Speedway Sport, a speedy recovery. Look, we've got a few guests who are joining us throughout the night. We're going to head down to Christchurch and catch up with what was a big weekend down there for the 50th. Also, on behalf of Dirt Track, we're going to catch up with Jason Hill as well and talk a bit about that and a bit about what's going on his website that's online, a new book and everything like that as well. But we better catch up and bring our mate Ammz and let's go.
Just before I was going to say, just before we do, kids, I just wanted to quickly, everyone knows about our anti-bullying campaign and stuff at the moment that we're trying to do this season, saying to people, if you see something, say it's not good, tell people you shouldn't be doing that. And I've been told about an incident that was happened online over some fantasy teams or something after the weekend, a big uproar and stuff. Yeah. And that's a perfect example of what we talk about there's no need for it. No need to talk to people like that online. And the person, what I've been told, because the person that was doing it, or the main instigator of all, was saying that they were Stu Russell. And it's my understanding that it wasn't Stu Russell. So people need to realise that Stu Russell had nothing to do with it. I believe he has tried to correct that. And this is what I talk about, people with Facebook lies. Don't believe everything you see on Facebook. And just because you see someone attacking someone, being a bully back to that person isn't the way to do it. The way is just to say nicely, hey, look, don't do that, mate. It's not good. You don't say, oh, you're an idiot or anything. And that's what we're trying to put across this season and all the time. There's no need for it. Don't get on there with your keyboard warriors. Don't get stupid. Don't bully people. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, Kins, because I thought it was unfair if someone saying they were Stu Russell when it wasn't Stu, because someone doesn't deserve to be accused of something that they don't do. So just that. So just think about your comments online, people. Think about what you're saying and think about what you do, because it affects a lot of people and just not one person that's been attacked. So just take your time. What do I say, kids? Engage your brain before you open your shit mixer. Hey. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And look, the other background I do behind the scenes, aside from the show, is in the media world that I'm involved with. And yeah, I have to deal with some of that stuff, obviously, with a different hat that I wear within my longevity in media world. I'm talking around law and media. So that's another part that I'm fully aware of and what you're saying. I know all about that stuff and how it all kind of happens, but that's another story for another day. Let's bring in all about the Speedway Awards and catch up with that good friend with his little antlers on there. Ammz, mate, how are you?
I'm good, boys, but I must apologise. I couldn't quite let you guys steal the limelight with your guys' Christmas decorations. So I thought, hey, why not? I'll jump in on the act and support the cause, yeah?
Yeah, mate,
go hard,
hey. You got to do it. It's all for the kids, eh?
That's what it's about, bro. Yeah, all about the kids. And yeah, not too far away from seeing the big man dropping down people's chimney to drop off some goodies. Not the big man up on the left-hand corner there from Pydor, somebody else. But it's all good. But
not the
yes,
biggest Santa Claus around.
no. But yes, race fans, we've surpassed week 7 of competition for the Only Ammz Speedway Awards of Excellence. And well, we won't muck around. We'll get straight into it with the busy program we have on show tonight, beginning with the Alan Wakeling Medalist for Sprint Car Racing Excellence and stretching the rubber band even further. Your points leader, still leading there over the last couple of weeks, is the 4USA of Jonathan Allard, clear leader there on 54 points. The 1NZ of Joel Myers Jr., 35 points there for second place. 55k of Daniel Thomas there on 34. What I might add, he had a great battle there with Jonathan Allard at Bay Park on the weekend gone. 88 of Keaton Darn there on 31. Dean Cooper on 29, alongside Ryan O'Connor, also on 29. Michael Pickens there on 26, alongside Rodney Wood, the Woodman from Bay Park there. Dean Brindle on 23, and Zach Sokol completing the top 10 there on 21 points. Your top 10 for the Alan Wakeling Medalist for Sprint Car Racing Excellence. Now we move on to the Tony Cardwell Medalist for Super Saloon Racing Excellence. And just like the previous section, stretching the rubber band even further on this one as well, and he has cleared ahead. Wow. He has checked out for a 20 points haul way out in front there. 2NZ of Sam Waddell, clear leader there on 51 points, ahead of Grant Flynn there on 31 points in second. Craig Cartwell, who had a great weekend at Bay Park there in third on 30. 27 each for Thomas Stanaway and Steve Cowling. Your outright winner and back into the top 10 as a consequence is the 1NZ of Chris Cowling there on 24 points. Jason Long on 23. Steve Flynn, last year's medalist winner, on 20. Steve Walling there on 18 points, and rounding out your top 10 for the Tony Cardwell Medalist Award for Super Saloon Racing Excellence is the 92 Kevin Martin on 17 points. We now move on to the Peter Rees Medalist Award for Stock Car Racing Excellence. And well, this the stool. Your leader there is the roof stomping man himself. What I might add, he had another busy weekend. He was at Rotorua on Friday night. He did grab a couple of points there, and then backing it up in Wellington for the Wellington Champs on Saturday night. Dion Henderson, your clear leader there on 55, ahead of your current New Zealand champion, Kyle Rowe, there second place on 47. Taylor Lamp there on 39. Troy Cleveland holding it down for the mainlanders there on 37. Sam Wright, the Aucklander, there on 36. He had a great night at Rotorua as well. Gary Lonigan still there on 35 points. Cody Lockett on 30 apiece alongside Logan Peat, your 2NZ driver there. Jack Rarity on 29, and rounding out your top 10 for the Peter Rees medalist for stock car racing excellence. He had a great weekend at Woodford Glen. Craig Robb there for 28 points. We now move on to the Roger Bertram Modified Medalist Award, brought to you by Pocono Auto Centre. Pop in to see Brett and the team at 62 Grave South Road in Pocono. If you need all things mechanical done to your car, then head into Pocono Auto Centre. While your car is in there, you can head down the road and grab yourself an ice cream, a double scoop, triple scoop, whatever scoop you might need. The car will be ready by the time your ice cream has mounted all over your hands. But we do have a clear leader at the top after a fantastic weekend of racing. Your 1NZ, Brad Lane, clear ahead on 51 points. The Foxman, Jamie Fox there on 35 and second. Newton Gorge, one back on 34. Jacob Mitchell, the Christchurch driver there, had a fantastic weekend at Woodford Glen on Saturday night. He has a points haul of 32. Cody Harter there on 28. Andrew Naven, the Christchurch driver there, also on 26. Ruben Brown there for 24. Barry Hunter enters the top 10 driver with 22 points ahead of PJ Ferguson, who I might add had a great battle on the weekend with Brad Lane at Huntley, and Kins will be able to back me up on that one.
Yeah,
Craig
he
Pottinger
did.
rounding out your top 10 on 17 points, your top 10 for the Roger Bertram Medalist Award, brought to you by Pocono Auto Centre. And our last segment for the Only Ammz Speedway Awards of Excellence is the Shane Penn Medalist for Superstock Racing Excellence. Again, your clear leader at the top now with 44 points. Kerry Rimnant there, your leader at the top. Harley Robb there in second place on 39. He was the outright winner at Woodford Glen on the weekend. Jordan Baldwin doing fantastic things up at Waikaraka Park. He sees himself third place currently on 35, ahead of William Humphreys on 34. Kyle Ashton on 33 points. Jay Holtham, he had a great weekend at Woodford Glen as well. He gets 31 points. Luke Alderdice, he's been Mr. Consistent over the last several weeks, I might add. 30 points for him. Todd Hemingway also there on 29. Brad Ullenberg on 28 alongside Timothy Ross there. Your top 10 for the Shane Penn Medalist Awards for Superstock Racing Excellence. Also, we had, Superstock Teams Racing did continue, and from all accounts, yes, Palmerston North Speedway turned it on the weekend with their five-way teams invasion, or whatever teams competition they did run. And if you thought the teams champs in February was the next stop, then you thought wrong. By all accounts, from what I heard, was a fantastic meeting that went ahead. Big crashes, big hits, big rollovers, you name it, it all happened at Robertson Prestige International Speedway, and we have a new leader as a consequence at the top. Palmerston North Panthers there. Might add the same points, but it was the differential that got them past the Gisborne Giants development, who I might add they had a good showing as well. Funny you might say that, because they actually beat the Panthers, but unfortunately not enough points to contest the final, which saw the Mustangs go ahead with the Panthers. The Panthers eventual winners of that event, the Mustangs in second, and the Giants development for third place. The Hawkeyes there still involved there as well. The Warriors, Wanderers, All-Stars, the Bee Eagles, Wildcats, and Rebels, Busters, and Tigers. That is how your Superstock Teams echelon looks like so far. Brought to you by JMax Speedway Chronicles. Big thank you to Marcus Markia for coming on board to support that initiative. Now we move on to the Captured Media Ultimate Performer for this week, and big thank you again to Glen Tamatea for coming on board to support this initiative. Our contestants for this week was, of course, Jonathan Allard, your sprint car selection there from his outright win at Bay Park on the weekend. Dylan Robb there was your outright winner at Woodford Glen in the stock cars. Harley Robb likewise in the Superstock. Chris Cowling, winner at Bay Park, and Jacob Mitchell there from Woodford Glen as well. Well, the photo on the screen says it all. 57.3% of the total vote going towards Jacob Mitchell, your Captured Media Ultimate Performer for this week. And now we move on to the last one, and it is our driver spotlight for this week, brought to you by Bump and Run Imagery. Big thank you to Mark Goodman for coming on board for this initiative. And well, this man, he's just he's just on another level at the moment. He had four races on the weekend for a total lap span of 42 laps, and of those 42 laps, he led 28 of them. And the consequence result of that, he won all four of those races. Your bump and run imagery driver spotlight for this week is none other than Mr. 1NZ himself, Brad Lane. Race fans, that is me for this week. Thank you to all those who have been enjoying my content so far this season. It's been my pleasure to bring it to you through the Only Ammz Speedway Awards of Excellence team. That's me for this week. Wherever you may be heading to a speedway track this weekend, be safe out there, but most of all, have fun. That's me, team. Bye for now.
All right,
Yeah, well,
cheers,
hey,
Ammz.
looking on
Thanks
that
for
Brad Lane thing, I was talking to Brad last night, and Monday night, sorry, and someone gave him a bit of a hard time about his donuts. They said he needs to pull finger and get better donuts because he's slacking a bit. He reckons he's going to try one, Kins, where he takes the steering wheel off and see what ends up happening. So
Yeah.
I said, well, if I see that happen, I'll be cracking up, because I know you talked about it, doing a donut. Pops will be hand on head, Brad hand out the window of the steering wheel doing a donut. That'll be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Ammz, PJ Ferguson kept him on his right on his bumper there until the last corner of that race, and it was bloody good to commentate because I was commentating that whole event. But like Book said, on turn 2, his donuts were pretty average. But once he got down to turn 3 and 4, I haven't seen anyone do something like that unless they were in a sprint car. He just had it hooked up on 3 and 4. But yeah, just put on the entertaining show. And the veteran Gary Parker was there, and the way he just cut it and round, yeah, that guy's on the rails, mate. Brad Lane, he's just a showman. He's an entertainer, but he's going to be hard. He's going to be hard to topple over in your awards, mate. Once again, appreciate your work you do and all the mucky you do. And thanks again, bro. We'll catch up with you next Wednesday.
Yep, for sure. Thank you for having me on board again, guys. It's been an absolute privilege to bring these points updates to you guys. Yep, my 10-minute timer has just gone off, book. So means I need to get off. So, but yeah, mate. Once again, just a big thank you to everyone that's tuned in and been enjoying my content. I enjoy bringing it to you guys, and likewise, I hope you guys have been enjoying it as well. Another massive weekend of racing to look forward to this week. It'll be week 8 of competition for the Only Ammz Speedway Awards of Excellence. Until I update you guys again, guys, be safe, have a good weekend, but most of all, have fun.
Thanks, Ammz. Appreciate you, bro.
Ammz, they're joining us, and just as he mentioned briefly, this is what the weekend is going to look like. It gets underway in a couple of days. If you're down in around the South Island, then what's the one now? I can't quite read it. I need my glasses.
Greenstone Park on Friday, as well as Awapuni Speedway, which is Gizzy.
Gizzy, yeah. So that's all go Friday, yeah.
Yeah, and
got a whole list. Got a whole heap.
Ooh, a plethora of it all. And there's some good meetings right around the country. So, yeah.
And Eastern States on the Sunday. But we'll bring in Bruce to join us. Hey, Bruce, how are you, mate?
I'm great. You guys look awesome, don't you, eh?
Got to get into that
spirit. and that's
well,
what it's
truly.
about. Yeah, it's only a couple of weeks away, and it's all about having fun and laughter. Let's go back to last weekend, mate. Booker was here, obviously, and what a Saturday night there was.
Oh, yes, it was great, wasn't it? To bit of a prelude to the Superstock teams in February, really. The guys enjoyed it, all the drivers did. There was no serious damage, and everybody went home that night except for Clive, had a bit of concussion, and but he was back at the track at 9 o'clock the next morning, eating pizza and having a cup of coffee with Puck there, and wanting to hop in his truck and drive back to Masterton. So there you are. He's as tough as old as that Clive.
Oh, yeah.
He's a trooper, mate. He's a trooper, eh?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was interesting to me too, Bruce. Just on that Clive incident, is that the policy now when it gets quite a big head knock that you're going to put those curtains up beside the driver to take them off? The reason I ask that is that as a Speedway person that's been around for a long time and others, when we see that come up, we think the worst. You know?
We're rid of them. You don't need them. We've made that decision. They won't be out there anymore.
Oh, we've lost your sound.
Have you got me
Oh,
still?
there you go. Got your sound back again. There you go.
So
Yep.
can
No,
you
I was just
just
saying we're going to
repeat
get
that?
rid of those black curtains. We won't be using them again. That's the end of that. It just brings back too many bad thoughts, I guess, of previous accidents.
Well, yeah, it instantly, it made my heart drop, to be fair.
Well, it made mine too, I tell you.
Yeah, because it's, as we know, back in the day, if something was really bad, that's what they brought out. So
Right.
you naturally thought that. But then I went to the pits a couple of races later to make sure, and someone said, I'd just been knocked out. They just did it for whatever. So that's why I was just checking to make sure of you, so people don't get that misunderstanding, Bruce.
Yeah, no, we're getting rid of it. It's not necessary, and I mean we've got a shed there, and the idea is to get the competitor, leave him in his car, and get him towed in and into the shed where St. John's can work on him without having to worry about what they're doing or think about people looking over their shoulder, and they'll work away at it and do their best. There's paramedics there every week, so
yeah,
we'll leave them to it, and we don't need to have that black curtain, that's for sure. It just bad connotations.
Yeah, totally agree. 100% agree with
Yeah.
you, mate, there. I've just noticed on your books, look behind Bruce's left-hand shoulder. Look at that cool little model car.
Yeah, the old tank there. I know, I saw that
old
before.
tank, yeah, cool, eh? That's cool.
Really?
Also, Bruce, we just want to clarify there was a fair bit going on the social media after that event. Now, this is in regards to the biggest event on dirt. We call it the New Zealand Superstock Teams. There's a fair bit going around about this 3-minute bell. But before I get to that, can you just reiterate the numbers of drivers and cars that will be representing in each team? Is it going to stay with the 5, or you're looking at the 6?
No, we're definitely going to 6. So I mean that's the principle behind it all, is that a driver then doesn't have to get into a car he's not familiar with. There's a history of injuries from drivers hopping, 5th, 6th driver or whatever, hopping into a car he's not familiar with and then getting an injury. So each team can bring along 6 cars. They race 4 cars at any time, and there's no swapping cars between drivers and that sort of thing. If you're going out to race, you go out in your own car. If not, well, you sit on the sideline or sit on the infield there.
Yeah.
But no, it's that's the principle behind it. It's a safety thing, great health and safety issue that we're trying to make sure we don't have issues going forward. So that's why, and the competitors like the 6 cars. All the teams were happy to turn up with 6 cars, and it saves a lot of heartache and having to get cars fixed in time for the next race too. You've always got a couple of spare cars that, if the worst comes to the worst, if you can put out on the track, and there's not the big delays waiting for drivers or crew to fix a car and try and get it mobile again. It takes a lot of pressure off the teams, and they look forward to having the 6 cars, and that's the way we're going to go in the future.
Cool.
Okay. And just to continue what I said at the start there as well, obviously since last weekend, is the 3-minute bell still going to be around for competitors as they do just prior to race to go to the pit gate? Or is the 3-minute bell going to be dissolved? What's going on there to squash those rumours?
The 3-minute bell is in the rule book, so you can't get rid of that, and that's all there is to it. So it's still there, but with these, we'll still have it for the Superstock Teams champs, and in February you'll be able to do your 4 laps like normal. But for these minor teams championships, it saves a lot of time by being able to just go out there and race, and that's all there is to it. No mucking around with 3-minute bells, no mucking around with 4 laps and getting lined up. You go out, line up, and go racing. And we got the program over and done with by soon after 10 o'clock the other night, which was great. It'll be a bit more hectic this weekend with a couple of 3 extra teams out there, but we'll get through just as quickly, I imagine.
All right. And just to clarify, the big event in February, Scrutineering's down at the square.
Down at the square again, yes, we've booked the square again. It's an awesome show down there. It's great to see all the people and milling around, and it's great for the city. It showcases to the city that how big Speedway is for them and how much it means. And they tell me there's going to be about 10 teams down at the Speedway bar this year, so it'll be interesting to see. They'll take up the whole of Main Street there, I imagine.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, cool. That makes life easier for me and Booker. We'll be down there doing the builder, so that just gives us one easy, good.
They'll all be together there, and then they'll make their way down to the square for the scrutineering itself. And I can't wait for it. It's just a great thing every year.
Yeah, mate. Hey, and support class on Saturday. What's the confirmed class that's racing in support?
Saturday, we've got stock cars for those that, particularly those that want to have a last-minute go before the Grand Prix, which is 28th of between Christmas and New Year there. So if anybody wants a last-minute go, they register and turn up on Saturday night. You'll get a run. We've got adult mini stocks, and we've got some sidecars coming along as well, just to add to the program.
And you're doing the draw for the Machine Specialist Limited Stocker Teams Invitation. That's what, tomorrow night, is it?
Tomorrow night, yes. About 6:30, I think it's booked for.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I'll go live on the Robertson Prestige website.
Or on your Facebook page or on the
Speedway website, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Awesome. Brilliant, eh? Gotta love it, mate. Keeps you on your toes.
We'll separate the two Palmerston teams like we did the other week for the Superstocks as well, just so that they don't clash straight off. I mean, that was and it worked out good too, because the two Palmy teams didn't make the end. Somebody else's alarm going off.
Oh, it's just me.
Yeah, no, that's all right. So we'll just separate the two Palmy teams, and we'll just draw for the rest of them. I mean, Makita Rotorua Rascals, that should be a good team actually. And Auckland Alley Cats coming down, they're strong too. Stratford Stormers, they've got a couple of ring-ins there, I believe. So be interesting to see how they go. They've got some couple of drivers there that are pretty familiar with Palmerston. Wanganui Vulcans, Gisborne Gladiators, and Waikato. And it's great to have Waikato down too to support this event. We give them great support, and it's good to see them coming back to this way as well.
And the other next big one is the Clinton Building Direct North Island Super Saloon Championship as well. So entries are coming in for the Super Saloons in the new year. What's that? January the 4th.
January the 4th. The entries are starting to come in, not as much as for the Stock Car Grand Prix. They're pouring in at the moment. Absolutely, just pouring in.
Cool.
That's what's the class on the Saturday night for teams at Army this year?
We're still looking at super saloons, but we've got a couple of Americans coming, but we're told that it won't be the two that we had out last year, Jason Fager and Bobby Pierce.
Yeah. But
there are a couple of others that are real keen to come down, and we're just talking with them at the moment. So it's more than likely it'll be super saloons again.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Brilliant, Bruce.
So they always put on a great show, and the crowd like them, and they look the part out there too. So
it was a hell of a show last year, wasn't it?
Three wide through the corners. Oh, this is security.
Asking you why you haven't left work yet, Bruce.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I thought this would be all over.
All right, Bruce. Hey, mate, we'll let you go. Thanks for the update.
Right,
we'll keep in touch. All the best. Eh?
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
Cheers,
guys. Thanks. Bye.
Well, there we go, Kins. That's clarified, isn't it? That all those rumours about the 3-minute bell, like I said before, just because it's on Facebook doesn't mean it's true.
No, exactly.
So that squashes that. I mean, I already knew that because I spoke to Bruce the other day, but that's why we got him on as well, to get it straight from the horse's mouth. As always, we get exactly what's happening out of Bruce, don't we? He always tells us straight up what's happening, and then the fans know. So it's fantastic. So, yep. And it's interesting that he said to me that it's in the rule book. So You can't get rid of it. So
Gotta
that's I
stick
like
to
that.
the rules.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Scottish Australia, it's in the rule book. Anyway, just if you're heading into Stratford this weekend, they've got the big North Island modified champs down there as well. And we touched on how brilliant Brad Lane is. I'm guessing he's going to be there, but up against so many others. As you see, racing for that will start at 6:30, gates open 4:30. They've got the Superstock 1K feature, best pairs going off for Stocky Street Stocks, adult mini stocks. It's all there, the MP Classic, and as mentioned, it is the North Island modified champs happening there. Right, we'll carry on, books, and bring in our guest who wants to catch up and talk about his role with the Dirt Track
New
magazine.
Zealand Dirt Track Racing magazine. Yeah, young Jason.
Jason, how are you, mate?
Oh, Merry Christmas, guys. How are you? Good to be on with you.
Yeah.
What gives that away all of a sudden?
Yeah. I thought it was Easter. Hang on. Oh.
Mate, how you been?
Oh, I've been really good. It's been a really busy couple of months with everything going on and the editor role at the Dirt Track handing over amongst everything else in life. But yeah, really looking forward to a bit of time off over Christmas before it all cracks off over January, February. Lots of big meetings.
Yeah, we once knew each other once upon a time with a game online. We had a bit of fun there, so you and your brother, and it was good times. Many who may not know who Jason is online, for those who may be familiar with this young man, cricket fan way back in the day. So there you go, just putting a name to the face. Mate, let's talk about the New Zealand Speedway Almanack and how that's going. Of course, you've got a couple of items around by you. You want to show, obviously, a book and a new book coming out. How's that been going?
Oh, really well. Yeah, for those who don't know, a couple of years ago, I started my own book called the New Zealand Speedway Almanack. And for those who might be familiar with, cricket and rugby, there's this big thick book which comes out every year, and it's got, hundreds of pages of stats and records and milestones and that sort of thing. And a couple of years ago, I thought, well, there isn't really one in Speedway. There's bits and pieces out there in media, and I thought, well, why not test the market and see if there's interest, and put it together just to sort of see if it would work. And there was a really great interest, and was really pleased how it went. So this book came out just over a year ago, Speedway Almanack 2023, with Scott Tennant on the front cover. 200 pages of that one. We actually sold out of that one completely now. So if you've got one, it's a collector's item, and we've got no more to sell you. But I do have a new one, the New Zealand Speedway Almanack 2024, with an awesome shot from Graham Hughes from the World 240s on the front cover, and another one at the back. I think that one won Speedway New Zealand Photo of the Year, actually. So that was a good one. But yeah, 250 pages. It's got everything. If you're a Speedway fan, it's filled with records and stats and milestones, happenings, trivia. If you're a Speedway fan, it's tell you what, with Christmas coming up, that might look good under the tree.
Yeah, hard out. I want to know though, is this just you that puts these 200 or 250 pages together, or is there a group of you that are part of this?
No, pretty much just me. So the Dirt Track, which we'll talk about, that's a collection of a number of contributors and people involved. But no, the Almanack, I've got a couple of people who do a little bit of the proofreading and have helped with filling in a couple of the gaps, which has been very helpful. But it's just a passion project, really. Even if I didn't do the book, I would come up with my own form guides and grids and points charts and that sort of thing. And it's been cool to sort of share that with the audience. And if you see me around the track, you'll see me with a big clipboard and sort of numbers flying on the clipboard, making sure I know who's winning and who's up on points. And yeah, it's been cool, sort of just being able to share that with a wider community.
Mate, me and Book are stressed out nearly every week trying to bring guests and sort out our show on a Wednesday night, and you've done 250 pages. Mate, that's just credit to you, the love and the passion, and you're a family man, aren't you? You're happily married?
Yep, no, very, very happily married, and a couple of young children. Now they're sort of old enough now to have an interest in the racing too, which is great. And we took them along to a couple of events last season at Rotorua in particular, and they loved it. So they're really getting into it now. Funnily enough, when we picked out photos for the Dirt Track, and my son was in a really good one. So on the Dirt Track, I've included him on the editor page. So when we're at the supermarket thumbing through the magazines, he can see a picture of himself, which he's pretty happy about.
That's cool.
Yeah. So how did you stumble on the editor role? I suppose it's pretty well given, isn't it? Because of what you've done with your passion on the book over the last couple of years. You sold out 2023. It was just a given to give you that opportunity to spread what you have a love and a passion about in a monthly magazine.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting the dirt track, or my family's been getting the dirt track for 30 years. So it's something that we've sort of grown up around in some ways. So obviously back then it was in that sort of newspaper style, fold out, and it's changed over time. But that's just the way that media is these days, and the dirt track's adapted as well. But I became very good friends with the editor who was outgoing, Matthew Sampson. Who's taken off for an adventure overseas, and he was very gracious in suggesting that I might consider the role, and one thing led to another, and sort of took it on. So the edition that's just come out with Shane Van Gisbergen on the front cover, which was a cool feature article to do with Brian Fairbold, who owns the United Truck Parts Sprint car, which he's going to be racing in over summer. That was cool to catch up with him and include that article amongst a couple of others. And as I say, it just morphed into something that a few months ago was not on the cards at all. And it's cool because my day-to-day job has nothing at all to do with Speedway, and so having something completely different to do in the evenings and on the weekends is it sort of takes your mind off things, and it's something that I'm following anyway, going to the events, talking to people. So just a natural sort of progression.
Pretty cool, eh, Box? Considering we start with Ammz doing all the passion that he loves around the awards and how that's all created from the NRL Dally M Awards. Then you got a young man like this, a couple of young kids, has a normal job, his evenings and weekends into the passion of Speedway and what he does. It's like, wow, it's just so cool.
And that's it, Kins. Like we talk about it, how we do what we do because we love the sport. Jason's doing it because he loves it and wants to put it out there and loves stats and has followed, been around Speed for a while as well. Ammz is the same, and it's good that we have so many people coming through now that are actually giving back to the sport, and giving back in a way where it's not having to jump in a car and drive, but giving back, like we interview people. That's our way of giving back, and so showing supporters to tracks and sponsors and stuff. Jason's producing this stat book, which promotes the drivers themselves, really, doesn't it? I mean, you're doing all those stats and trivia stuff about all those drivers, and not just one class. I take it's right across all classes, Jason. Is that right?
Yeah, all of the major classes. So every event, every class that has a national title, officially recognised national title is covered. So plus even a few sort of mini stock events and a couple of others which are not nationally recognised as well. So we included, made a really deliberate point to include the couple of mini stock events in Rotorua and down the Canterbury region in this year's book, so that guys who otherwise wouldn't possibly get a mention in other media, have something if they want to get it, and at least their names in black and white. So, but no, it's cool. I mean, the way that Speedway media has evolved in the last few years, it gives opportunity for a number of different people, different forms of media. And this sort of format with interviews and live interviews as well, even a few years ago, you wouldn't have thought would be possible, but here we are. So, Ammz does a great job too, with his weekly updates, and it just gives the drivers something to work towards.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you talked about the only way we really had to recognise it was through a fold-out magazine, which was the NZ Dirt Track. And I remember I was at Trackside with Troy, or Travelling Troy, but now he's sharing some of those photos. All this digital world has now come to the forefront. He's starting to share his history of what he has and collated over many decades. And this is what this whole world revolves around now. It's whether you're doing stats or whether you see so much photos now, you can't even hide anything from anything on the track these days. Everything's so captivated. And dare I say it, these bloody things here, technology has made it happen like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you go to a big meeting these days, and within 5 minutes, there's 10 different people who have either captured the winning driver or put a video up of the big hit or the big event during the race. And again, that's just a sign of the times, right? But that also means that what I do and what I'm doing in the magazine needs to adjust as well. It's no good just putting a whole bunch of different results in there, because you can find that online in most cases these days. It's got to be a little bit different, and people want to read stories that they're not going to just read, on a Facebook page or just scanning a social media site. They want something that captures their interest. So again, it presents a challenge to keep it modern and relevant. But so far so good, and hopefully there's a few good stories to come over the next few months.
That's the thing for me, isn't it? That how that's had to evolve. Like the Dirt Track magazine, has had to evolve because so many people post. This was first, second, third. You can go online and see that anywhere you like. So that magazine's had to evolve where it's more like what we do, but in written form. Would you say that's sort of how it's gone? Like, instead of a live interview with us, it's just, you put it onto paper and talk to the drivers and do a full background, and that's what the magazine has become.
I think so, and obviously that's a credit to the drivers as well, because I think that them being open to that form of media is also helpful. They sort of reached out to a few people already who've expressed an interest, and there's another one coming in the edition that we just wrapped up with Tyler Walker for the January edition of the Dirt Track. But yeah, that's what the public wants to see. They want to know about the drivers rather than just what the drivers are doing and what place the drivers came. And that's totally understandable, because they can get a lot closer to the drivers and social presence, and also at the tracks these days. And it's just an evolution of how media works. And the Dirt Track's a perfect example. I mean, it's been around for what, 30 something years, 40 years, something like that. And hopefully it can stay around. And that's just a credit to it sort of evolving over time.
Yeah, well, it's a magazine.
Oh, sorry, kids, go.
Yeah, it's a magazine that's been around longer than I, mate. I'm only 21, so I'm all good. And it's just one of those mags that has a lifelong history of Speedway and everything like that. Jason, you have the magazine handy by, so what can people expect in this special edition, especially for some summer holiday reading over the Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, absolutely. So the December edition, as I say, is out now. A feature article, as I say, on with Brian Fairbold, who's giving Shane Van Gisbergen the car, and had some really cool insights, having been really close and present to Shane in his previous visits, and also to a number of other overseas-based drivers who visit the country. There's a cool article from the Huntley Teams event, which was a couple of weeks ago, in full. There's also a piece on Western Springs and sort of what happened there a few weeks ago with the board meetings and the council meetings, which sort of led to the decisions on that. And Matthew Percival's written a really good article there. There's articles though from all around the tracks, including the likes of Moore Park and Ellesmere, which don't otherwise get a lot of attention. Napier and Miani. Alan Batt's also written a really cool piece in this one on 50 years of sprint cars. So yeah, really encourage people to get a copy. As I say, we're putting the final touches on the edition for January already, and there's some really great stories in that one too. So if people haven't got their copy of December, make sure they do, and then look out for January in the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks.
Awesome. Hey, Jason, look, it's been good to see you again, mate. It's been a while, and I love the work that you do, not only on your book that you have at the moment, but also your editing role. And we're going to give you an opportunity as well over time to win a copy of the Dirt Track magazine. And hey, you could be sitting there enjoying the reading while the rest of the family are running around, whether it's beachside or at the track. Jason, keep smiling, mate. Love all the work you do. I love the passion, love the drive. And we look forward to catching up with you again next month sometime and have another chat on January or February upcoming issue, eh? Yeah,
no, that sounds perfect. And hey, if anybody does need an extra Christmas gift, don't forget the New Zealand Speedway Almanack 2024. That's the one. Remember, people can just head on to my website, superstocks.co.nz, or follow my Facebook page, follow the links, you'll get there. $35, good value.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
You have a good Christmas then with your family and friends. We'll see you trackside soon. We'll see you at Bay Park on the 28th.
Yes.
Let's catch up then. Have a great Christmas, guys.
Thanks, Jason. See ya.
Jason Hill, there you go. The man that delivers the passion and the drive and puts it in the paper. 200 pages with the 2023 and the 2024 book, $35. Great Christmas present. 250 pages, but get the latest edition of the New Zealand Dirt Track. Features, of course, the Giz, the man himself, but also the owner of the car and the sprint cars. The Giz actually will be at Bay Park on the 28th with the International Midget Series. Not forgetting to also, we do a bit of a special next week. We are going to catch up and have a chat, and I'll just share you with this. This is obviously one of the reasons we did it last year, Booker and I. We went and caught up with Ross Ashby and his family. We spoke a bit about that event. But the other part to it, or just quickly, I'll get this in there, is obviously these people who are coming. I just the wrong bloody thing there. Just one more click. Wait, just please bear with me. Is you gonna
It's hard to
see?
get good help.
Yeah, there you go. The series. You got them from America and Australia. So some of the biggest names. That young lady, Zoe Pierce. Watch that young lady, but also taking nothing away from the young lady who got third at the North Island Midgets down there at Ocean View in Wanganui. We're going to head down to another track that had a massive weekend.
Huge weekend.
Look at him. He's been sitting there nice and patient. Ivan, mate,
And
welcome back
relaxed.
to the show. Yeah, relaxed. You would enjoy some of the catch-up, obviously, the teams update from Bruce Robertson in regards to Palmy, because your track team are back-to-back champs and trying to make it a 3P come February.
Yeah. Hey, look, that's our goal. Interesting to see we're taking a 6 car now. Just a bit more cost than another ferry sailing, but hey, the team will do it.
Yeah. But obviously it brought some real good recognition around why, and
Oh,
it's
exactly.
paramount-
100%
it's
agree. Yeah,
paramount around
100%
safety.
agree.
It's
Yeah,
safety.
100%
It's
agree.
safety, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, hard.
like I've jumped in at Palmy and Ricky Bolton's car, and you stand beside me and Ricky Bolton, where I'm the short and the tall of it, you know.
like
So
me and
I tell you, I've been there. Yeah, I know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Mate,
about
let's
the
talk about-
safety.
Oh,
hard
hell
out.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, hard out. This doesn't come easy, obviously, the 50th anniversary. It's taken 50 years, obviously, but there's been a lot of work, and I want to talk about that before you got into the weekend, which was massive, and you were there for like 14 hours from what you told us earlier on. But there is a lot of work that has to happen behind the scenes to make this event, make it happen.
Yeah, it is. And as you say, we've been planning for a couple of years for it. You know, setting up budgets and race meetings. And, you know, we've got Ruapuna that race here. They normally race early December. Steve Lennon, our promoter, got hold of Rob Roxburgh, who's the promoter over there. They chose not to, knowing that it's our weekend. We really appreciated that, because
That's
a
cool.
lot of people don't realise the first race meeting at Woodford Glen was 7th of December 1974. So exactly 50 years to the day last Saturday night.
Wow. That's uncanny, isn't it? Shit.
Isn't it? Yeah, uncanny as. So, yeah, so there's been a lot of work behind the scenes to put on an event like that. We opened up entries early in the year, and one of the first ones in the Superstocks was Adam Groom out of Hawke's Bay, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was good to have Adam down here. Numbers were huge. Unfortunately for us, timing wasn't great. Now with the restricted numbers in certain classes, we had to run 2 heats to qualify for the highest for the one race final. So that gave us an extra 4 or 5 races. But hey, it is what it is. We just got to work through it and carry on.
How many races overall did you have at the end, mate?
30.
Wow.
That's
We had
incredible.
30 races.
know-
Yeah, we had 30 races, and we also had a fireworks display. And for the people that know Woodford Glen, they know that we're under a flight path. So we had to lights out at about 9:30, quarter to 10, because that's what air traffic control give us. They give us a time slot to get them off. So we had to do that, flick the lights back on, and then we raced to the program and some of the final races.
Oh, wow.
That's
Learn
interesting,
something
because
new.
every time we
Yeah.
talk to a South Island track, we learn something new every time, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, so we knew it was going to be a big night. Normally we start at 6:30, but on Saturday night we started at 5:30. We started an hour earlier to allow for the extra time. Last race finished about 11 o'clock.
That's not too
Mate,
bad for
value for
30
money.
races
Hey.
plus fireworks.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's normally the first round always drags and takes the longest, and once everybody gets into the momentum, the next 2 rounds normally go through pretty good.
Yeah.
And you had a few inductees as well on the Thursday night, was it, for Lifetime? I see Fluffy got an award. There, a few people got
Yeah,
Lifetime
so-
Achievement Awards, I think, was it?
Yeah, so what we did was on the Thursday night, we had a function with all our life members. And once we knew what numbers were coming to that, we opened it up. We had about 190 people there. at one of the workmen's clubs here. We put on a supper. We had some guest speakers. Obviously, myself as president opened it and welcomed everybody, as you do. And then we had Lindsay Richards, who was our very first president back in 1974.
Wow.
And Lindsay, and we launched our book, 50 Years Woodford Glen. Lindsay wrote that, and with a bit of work from Tim Saville. It goes through the 5 decades. So yeah, it's massive, same thing, 270 odd pages, hardcover book and everything. You can get them on the Woodford Glen's online store with courier. I'm going in tomorrow night. We've got about 160 to package up, and we've already sold a heap. So that event, and Dennis Bolt spoke there, and also Lewis Dawson, who was an instrumental in Woodford Glen, coming on as a promoter after Jeanette Bolt. And Lewis brought some different ideas and reasonings, and yeah, he was good. He came down from the North Island for the weekend to join us. And when you become a life member, which luckily I was awarded it this year, you normally just get a life members badge and you go on the honours board. Because it was our 50 years, we wanted to give all of our life members something that you can put in the trophy room. So they got a nice glass trophy to put in there, recognising their life membership. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. It was very cool. I just hear something. It's good, like, it just amazed me how it's stepped up over the years. Everything's stepping up in it, the show we go and watch, the presentation of vehicles, what we do to celebrate a milestone now in Speedway. It's just fantastic. I just think the way it's filtered through the whole sport is just amazing.
Yeah, it is. And as I say, and then that was the Thursday night. Then on the Friday we had a function. Luncheon. There's a classic car museum here in North Canterbury. We went out to that. The life members came out to that, and we had lunch, played mini golf, and I think the results were rigged. But anyway, so yeah, that was a good day. And then we shot back to the track, and we opened up the club rooms from 4:30 till 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we put on a supper, and that was anybody could come along. A racer, pit crew, fans, and we had quite a few people there, and we were selling copies of the book there as well. And then the next night we had our race meeting.
Yeah. I noticed Malcolm Nato had the old TNC body on, and I remember the old Brian Johnson back in the days.
Johnson,
yeah. It's just good to see them, representing drivers who have been in the past, and for someone like Malcolm to do that was so cool, and it's just so cool.
Yeah, it was. It was good to see. We put a bit of a challenge out, and it carries over to the Battle of the Stocks. But we put a challenge out, as the board, if you can, for that event, if you can do something retro. There was a stock car that had the livery of the late Wayne Wilding, McIver medals. There was some street stocks, third generation street stock drivers that had their grandfather's shark fins on the roof with his number and stuff like that. So, reminiscing about all the old days and stuff like that. And it was really good because there was a heap of life members there. And our grand parade on Saturday night was for life members only. And they hopped on. We had the classic stock cars from around New Zealand. There was 18 of them. They were there as well on the roster. And they took drivers around as well as other cars, like Dennis Bolt was on his car, his Super Saloon that Kane Lawson drives. Richie Taylor was on his grandson's mini stock. Just going to show, the youth are coming through from generations.
Yeah, definitely. I remember Dennis Bolt's old Corvette back in the day, the little old Corvette. I remember that thing with the red rims. And another name I remember in the saloons I used to love watching from the south was Basil Jones.
Oh, from Nelson, Basil,
Yeah, come down there and race down there as well. And mate, there's some Greg Keegan, the modified.
Greg was with us over the weekend on the Thursday night and the Friday night. Won multiple New Zealand modified titles and places, and he was up there as well. So it was a really good night, and we've had some pretty good emails come back. It's as I say, it's a lot of work. The girls in the kitchen that did the supper for us on the Friday night and opened the bar on the Saturday night, they do all that for us. Steve Lennon, all of our competitors and all of our staff members, when they signed in the health and safety book and the competitors signed in with Speedway New Zealand, everybody got a beer mug, a glass tanker with our 50 years logo and everything. So it's just, there's lots of work that goes on behind the scenes to run these shows, just a normal meeting, let alone something like that.
Yeah, it's those nice little touches that mean so much to people who are given their time over decades. It's just something that small is a nice gesture they will walk away with and think it's the best thing because they're given so much to a track. And I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think to myself, you celebrated 50 years last weekend. Is there any other tracks who will be getting closer to a 50-year milestone, or everyone? Well, how young is your track? You said 74. I'm
Yep.
guessing it's pretty young in New Zealand Speedway terms, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Like Ruapuna next door, they've been going a bit longer than us, a fair bit longer. There was other tracks that were around these sorts of areas before that, but the actual Woodford Glen track, it was 74 was the first race meeting. And as I say, just for that event, people that don't know, Ron Rutherford and Errol Inwood, that's where the Woodford comes from. Errol Inwood's family flew out from Australia, and they had a private family moment out there on Friday, and they were there for the weekend as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So it was
incredible,
good,
that history.
Yep.
I tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens at Battle of Stocks with that retro out there. So you drivers that are watching, that are doing Battle of Stocks, get your retro liveries started. Start thinking, man, because how cool would it be to see all retro liveries out there for the Battle of Stocks?
Exactly.
Hey,
Well, Blair Eulenberg started it last year, didn't he? Coming down with his dad's livery from when he placed in the title at Woodford Glen.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for some of the young ones to see those cars and those liveries as well. Because then that puts that history there, keeps it going, eh?
Yeah, and people would have seen we had some static displays. We had some of the stock cars, classic stock cars, out at the track on the Friday night, static display, and at the main gate on the entrance coming in, we had Colin Cameron with his original Mark I Escort that raced all those years ago, and that's dead set original. And we had Shane Anderson, our vice president, has done a classic stock car, and another chap here in Christchurch has done up Wayne Andrews' old Boss Mustang, all done up in the old colours with the copper specialists. And so it was cool. People were looking around that and enjoying it and having a yarn and saying, I remember seeing that racing back in these days. And so it was good.
I know a big advocate for what we're talking about the retro is young Scotty Tennant. We had him on a show a few months back, and he wants
got to get
actually,
him back on yet, mate, for that stump
and he
Scotty
wants to
night.
put he wants to put his dad's old car on it. Doesn't know what it will be at this stage, but he surely wants to drive his dad's livery back in the day. But it's a bloody good thing, the V8 supercars do it as an example. If you follow motorsports, nearly most codes around the country, whether it be rugby league, rugby, they all do something of the retro side of things, and it brings back the memories. And what you've done with your 50th, the memories live on in a limited edition book. Woodfordglen.co.nz. You can go there, buy it, $60, add in the delivery. Yeah,
it's a good book.
10 days. Yeah, 7 to 10 days delivery. So, you still got time to get one for someone to put under the Christmas tree for a present. There's 2 weeks' time's Christmas, so 7 to 10 days. If you got that extra $60 hanging around, go and support Woodford Glen track and buy a book of some memorabilia of what has been a great 5 decades. Ivor, mate, I know there was a reason we got you on your show, because you just bring the passion and the love and you bring the history, mate. And it's been a pleasure once again catching up with you. We do appreciate you taking our time, and Booker and I do look forward to catching up with you when we're down there as part of the Rees tour with the modified invasion, mate.
Yeah, keen to catch up with you. And hey, if I'll catch up with you in Nelson if you're heading there for the Superstock title. Bound to catch up around the traps there.
Yeah, before we let you go too, so your GP, let's quickly talk about the GP you've got coming up.
Yep.
So people know. So that's not far away.
It's not far away. Before our GP, obviously, we run Boxing Day. We don't run now till Boxing Day. It's our Remembrance Champs. We run all our memorials. I see Adam Groom's left his car here, and he's entered for that as well. So GP's only around the corner. One ferry sailing, a few race meetings. And then we roll into our GP on the 3rd of January. Good numbers in the entry list. So all the Reeses are in there. The Joblins are all in there now. So it was slow a wee bit, but they all rocked out last weekend and blew the cobwebs off. So, the entries are looking good.
Yeah, those Rees cars were quick.
And I'm guessing the Pits TV doing the live coverage of all of that as well for those who can't make it down there?
Yeah, the Pits TV, they'll be doing the streaming for that. They do a marvellous job. So I'll be watching that stream because I'm actually out of the country that weekend. I'll be hooking into it while I'm sitting over sunning myself having a beer.
Good on you. Good on you. Love it. Love what you do, mate. And once again, as Booker and I said, thanks, and to you and your family. If we don't see you while you're overseas enjoying a beer in the summer weather, have a Merry Christmas to everyone in your family, mate, and enjoy, and take care, eh?
No worries. Thanks, guys. And on behalf of Coke and Woodford Glen, we wish everybody a Merry Christmas, drive safe, and get to the race meetings.
Wonderful,
100%.
mate. We'll see you at Nelson in a few weeks' time.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Ivan.
Cheers.
See ya.
There, mate.
See you, mate.
Man,
Brilliant.
they really went the full yard for their 50, didn't they, Kins? All those little wee
Oh.
extra things, and you know, and 30 races, mate. It's not just the drivers' races. You got to think there's all the volunteers and everybody else there that's there helping for those 30 races. You got to take your hat off to everybody that helped and made their 50 years happen at Woodford Glen over the weekend. I can congratulate all of you and say you've done a fantastic job and presented a fantastic meeting for your 50 years. Well done.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, Box. And the best thing about it too is that Mother Nature didn't stuff it all up. The weather was perfect for it.
Beautiful.
So it was brilliant.
That was
Must have
me.
been
I planned
50
that.
years. Yeah, you planned it, you called it. But what it did was it replicated 1974, December 7th. It worked
Isn't
out
that
perfectly.
isn't that a hard case? Same date.
I would have bought a lotto ticket. I would have bought a
Hey.
bloody lotto ticket, mate.
Unbelievable. That's just so good. I see, and there's more. Like, I think Miani's 60 years this year or something. Is that right?
it?
No, that can't be right. Have I got that right? Someone will tell me if I got that right.
70? Someone's doing 70.
60 years for
70.
Miani, early January. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of clubs
Oh.
are hitting their milestones and stuff, eh, mate? It's great to see. And the best
Yeah,
way that we as spectators and fans can support these clubs to make them there for another 50 years is get our backside, trackside, and support them and watch them in the seats, eh?
And Kiki only had their 70th just recently, although it was only one night, you know, so these are these milestones. Look, I do apologise. I haven't said hello to a lot of you out there. Mark Goodman, Samantha Kiss, Kerry Russ, who else we got? Tracy Sweeney, Mike Harvey, Barry Hunter, Bernie Giltrap. See you this Saturday, mate. Ed Huntley, they've got the big Waikato Superstocks and the stock car champs on. Santa Fox, yeah, we're all good there. Maru, Jason Wilson, Josh Barton, Cody, mate, how you going? Scott Honeybone. What else you got here? Am I wearing this on Saturday night? No, I might do. I'll see what happens. All from 4, you're right. Look, yeah, I do apologise. You haven't got it. Thanks, Terry. Fireball, mate. I hope you're going well.
Yes, pacemaker all in there. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Nana Gale, how are you? Josh Prentice.
There's a lot of good meetings still coming up too, Kins, eh? You know, like you've got that teams meeting this weekend. You got the double meeting at Gizzy this weekend. That's going to be good. And there's the following weekend that Wanganui, that new format at Wanganui, that new one. I'm thinking about making the travel over to that as well myself. Next weekend to up the V, eh?
Up the V,
up the V.
Up the V.
I tell you, but they've got a fantastic format meeting with a lot of super stocks that they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Stacey, I know you're watching, Stacey, and I know you and Pete. Happy 4th anniversary. Rob, maybe Tyler's in there as well, and the list just goes on and on and on. Look, unfortunately, I can't quite get the blooming thing going, but that's what's happening Speedway-wise this Friday. Awapuni Speedway, Greenstone as well, down in Greymouth. Then, of course, you've got a whole lot of tracks getting up and going on Saturday. You also got Eastern States as well, and I think if I click back to that, yeah, there we go. The North Island Modified Champs down there in Stratford on Saturday as well. That's just some of the racing action that's happening across this weekend. But overall, great to catch you at Anne's with the latest updates on the Speedway Awards. Also, brilliant to catch Bruce Robertson to clarify a few things in their big stock teams invasion happening this weekend. They've got the big North Island Super Saloons next year as well. And also, as I said, clarify the 3-minute bell. It's in the rule. It's happening. 6 cars at Palmy teams. Super Saloons, 2 American different drivers coming up in February. Also good to catch Jason Hill, talk about his website, the books, and the Dirt Track magazine. We'll be catching with quite often, give you a chance to win a Dirt Track. And to wrap it up, Ivan McPhail, and good to catch up with him, the old boss man out of Woodford Glen.
Yeah, mate. Been an exciting night. And next week will be our final one for the year. Because then the following week after that's Christmas, of course. But me and Kinser are going to take a well-deserved break. Well, we feel it's a well-deserved break anyway. We'll be back next week, and with horse and
Melissa and
Melissa
Marco from
and
Bay
Marco
Park.
from Bay Park to talk all about the Hokie Memorial Race, which is very dear to Monaghan's hearts, and we wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just trying to tee up if we can get a hold of an American sprint car driver to join us. And Nico, just when you want to find his name when you're talking to him, it's not quite there. But anyway, we will catch up with maybe someone on the international scale side of things to join us for a bit of a chat. Yeah, Logan Seavey. So there you go. Logan Seavey, the American. Kick-ass American in the sprint car. So we'll see what we can get on our midget. Catch you. Take care. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. I should have worn the Grinch to be the opposite. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you all. See you next week.
Shut up.
Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot, Natty.